All right, I believe we are live here for the PMC Lounge live session. This is another awesome PMC Lounge live session, third in a row. We plan to do a PMC Lounge live session every week, basically. And what we are supposed to do here is to dive deep into real life project management stuff that's guaranteed to amp up your career. So whether you're just starting out, whether you're on the rise, or you might be a seasoned pro when it comes to project management, I bet the insights that we share in these live sessions, these will be a game changer for your journey. So, buckle up and get ready for today's session. This is definitely going to be a blast for sure. What we are talking about today is essentially the different certifications that are available out there. And we'll talk about 9 of them, but a quick introduction about myself here on this slide. As you can see, a brief intro about me. I started my career in project management in 2011. I have several certifications under my belt, and there are several companies that I have worked for in the capacity of a speaker, a mentor, or a consultant. So, without further ado, I would urge you to get cozy, kick back, and snag yourself a cool drink or maybe a tasty snack. And don't forget to feel the vibe of the chat and don't be shy. Share your thoughts, drop your comments, throw in some likes, and help us get the word out that we are live on PMC Lounge, and let's reap the benefits together. Now, these live sessions that we do, these are essentially divided into three sections, and they are mentioned on the top of this slide that you can see. The first one is welcome, then we have the feature content, and of course, the last call where we wind things down. So, welcome once again, and let's move forward. I would also like to share a bit about our website, the pmclounge.com, what exactly this is. You might be catching this live, or you might be watching this video for the first time in a replay. Just a heads up, PMC in PMC Lounge stands for Project Management Certifications. And we are all about PMP and other project management related certifications out there. In fact, this video itself will tell you 9 such project management certifications that can help you in your career in the year 2024. All right. So, one other thing is that we are not just about the exams, we are not just about the certifications. We are also here to keep you in the loop with what's buzzing in the world of project management, what are the industry trends, reports, and all that good stuff. So we aim to simplify project management and we break down topics in the simplest language possible. That is the reason why, if you go to the playlist section of this YouTube channel, you're going to find all the concepts, everything that you need to study for your PMP exam neatly arranged in playlists. If you go over those playlists, thousands of our community members, just like them, you will also be able to pass your PMP exam. Everything is available for free. All right. Now, one other thing I'd like to remind you here, that consider the subscribe button while you're watching this. Don't forget to subscribe to us. We are also hanging out on all the social media channels out there, all the socials out there: Facebook, Instagram, not Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And I would urge you to especially follow our Telegram channel. Do join it. And that is going to make sure that you never miss out any updates. So, cheers to that. Let's move on and let's talk about a quote before we get into the featured content. And the quote is: plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. This quote is by Peter Drucker. How many of you have heard about Peter Drucker? Have you ever read a book written by Peter Drucker? And do you know what is the middle name of Peter Drucker, because he writes his name as Peter F. Drucker. So, do you know about him? Have you read any books written by Peter Drucker? And most importantly, do you find this quote relevant? Can you relate to this quote? Plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. Because remember, as project managers, our main chunk of work is about creating plans and, of course, making sure that those plans are followed. So plans are obviously good intentions, but then they degenerate into hard work. Can you relate to this? Drop a comment about this quote and let's get into the content for today's live session. And we are talking about the top 9 project management certifications ranked. So let's start off with opportunities and expertise. And this is not the name of a certification. This just tells you what certifications can help you with. They can help you with opportunities and they can help you with expertise. So, as 2024 unfolds, we are right now in December. 2024 is officially just a month away. You need to understand that certifications offer promising opportunities and they are going to open new doors of opportunities. You talk about promotions, you talk about pay raise, you talk about changing jobs or even industries. Having a certification can really help with all of these. Certifications serve as a testament to an individual's project management knowledge, expertise, dedication, and overall capability to manage projects efficiently. So, depending on the credentials, it reflects a deep understanding of the methodologies and best practices. So, what we are talking about here when we say that is, if you have a certification in Agile or maybe Scrum, so it is very likely that you know a lot about Agile or Scrum, right? If you have a Scrum Master or a CSM certification. So, someone knowing that you have a CSM certification can safely assume that you know what Scrum is. You know Scrum way of working, right? In the Agile umbrella, Scrum is just one way of working. So you know about it because you have that certification. If you have the ACP certification, right? Someone can easily assume, and it's safe to assume, that you know some of the ways of working of Agile because you would have studied for Scrum, you would have studied for Kanban, right? So these are some of the agile ways of working that you would have studied for when you were preparing for your ACP, even extreme programming for that matter. If you have a certification in SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework, it is safe to assume that you know what Scaled Agile is. So that is something that certifications can help you with. So if you select the right certification, it can be a game changer. You are eyeing a job change to a different company and you get to know that they work on scaled agile. Scaled agile is the way that they deliver their project. Then getting a certification in scaled agile can actually be a game changer. It can definitely help you in approaching any job opportunities that are available here. So this is going to be a recommended list. We have like 9 certifications that I just mentioned, and some of the questions that you can find answers to in this live session is, what are those 9 top certifications? These range from globally acclaimed ones like PMP and Prince2 to agile minded ones like Scrum Master and even Product Owner. So, whether you aspire to be a project manager, a program manager, a project coordinator, your journey to demonstrate your expertise begins here. So choose your certification. Let's go over these 9 certification list, right? The entire list. Choose it. Choose the certification that you think suits you the most. And one last thing is, having a certification is also going to reflect the current market value, employer preference, and the demand for project management skills, right? So whatever the entire list that we have, this has been curated by keeping in mind things like these, right? Important factors like this, the current market value of the certification, what are the employers preferring to, what are the demand for project management skills, And we have, of course, taken number of job postings that are seeking these certifications on job portals, as well as what their salary ranges are. So this list that you're going to see of 9 certifications, and we have ranked this. That means when we talk about certification number 9, it actually ranks the last in this list of 9 certifications. This is based on job listings, how many jobs are actually asking for this certification. It also talks about the salary range, people with this certification, what exactly are they earning. So number 9 is actually the lowest in this list. So this is not just a random list of 9 certifications. That is what I was trying to tell you, that this is a ranked list. So let's get started with certification number 9, and you might have heard about it, PRINCE2 practitioner. This is offered by Excelos, and this certification, it targets project managers, those that are aspiring project managers. You may have a PRINCE2 foundation certificate as well, because PRINCE2, the one that we're talking about, is a practitioner certification. And to get the practitioner certification, you should have the foundation certification first. So you go for PRINCE2 foundation, and after PRINCE2 foundation, you go for PRINCE2 practitioner. What we are listing here is the practitioner certification. So if you have foundation, you can go for it. And this is also something that professionals that are aiming to showcase their ability to manage projects can also go for. Now, this certification, the PRINCE2 one, it delves deeply into a specific methodology of PRINCE2 itself, and it empowers practitioners with the skills to apply these principles universally. So obviously, this is not any industry specific certification. It is industry agnostic, and it is again something that talks about the PRINCE2 methodology itself. Now, this is globally recognized, but it has a very, very strong presence in the UK. Some people might argue that more than PMP, PRINCE2 is something that is in demand in the UK. Although I would say that this is mostly true for government organizations and organizations that work for the UK government or with the UK government. This certification is going to offer a comprehensive project management methodology applicable to projects of any size or complexity. It emphasizes a disciplined and systematic approach, prioritizing efficiency and effectiveness as well. PRINCE2 is compatible with various project management methodologies, and it features a clear, structured learning path with defined certification levels. It starts from foundation and it ends at practitioner. So it has two different levels basically. Some of the advantages of getting yourself a PRINCE2 practitioner certification is that it is internationally recognized and it is an esteemed certification for sure. It is applicable across a wide range of industries, and it promotes basically a systematic, a process driven approach to project management. That is very, very important, and this is why PRINCE2 is something which is globally recognized. Some of the disadvantages or the cons could be that the cost for this certification can vary among providers, and some practitioners, they perceive that the methodology is complex and rigid, especially when it is compared to more flexible approaches like agile or scrum, right? So if you compare that with PRINCE2 methodology, you might find that this is something which is more complex and it is more rigid. Now let's talk about certification number 8, and that is safe scrum master. Safe is essentially the scaled agile framework, right? And this is designed to prepare individuals to lead agile teams within a safe enterprise. So it emphasizes the scrum master's role as a servant leader and coach, and focuses on adding value at scale. So this is very, very important. So if you're working in an organization that has nothing to do with scaled agile, that has nothing to do with the role of a scrum master, you are working in this traditional waterfall sort of environment, and then you go out and get yourself a safe certification, how useful do you think it is going to be for your career? Not much actually, because you have done a certification, you have studied about something which is not applicable on your real life job. But at the same time, as I mentioned previously, if you're eyeing a job switch, a role in an organization that follows safe, that follows the scaled agile framework, then getting this job is going to help you out. And this ranks at number 8. So out of these 9 certifications, there are 7 certifications on top of this certification which are in more demand as compared to this certification, right? So that's something that you should be aware of. Some of the key benefits here are this certification is going to equip you to facilitate agile events and drive the safe adoption in organizations. This is important because there are several organizations out there that are on their way to adopt the scale agile framework, right? So they might be working in some other fashion, right? They might be working in some different way of working. It could be agile, it could be waterfall, whatever, and they are on their path to get to the scaled agile framework. So if you have this certification, it proves that you know about scaled agile framework and you can actually help this company to transition to safe. Now, this instills essential servant leadership qualities for fostering high performance teams, and certified professionals are well prepared to support end to end value delivery in a lean agile enterprise or an enterprise that follows scaled agile, right? So that is what the advantages of having this certification is. Some of the additional pros that I can list here is that this is something which is pretty much in demand, and there are rich training sources and practical tools available for scaled agile. But affordability may be impacted by the cost variability of this certification. You do not have a fixed cost for this certification across the board. So the provider that you go for to obtain the certification might charge you different than some other provider, right? And again, another thing is that this is primarily beneficial within organizations adopting the safe framework. So if there are organizations who have nothing to do with scaled agile, and you work in an industry where none of the organizations out there are doing scaled agile, then having this certification is actually not going to be much beneficial to you. Let's talk about certification number 7, and that is Safe Product Owner. The Scaled Agile Framework Product Owner. Now, I know this might ruffle some feathers because you might think, why do we need a product owner certification when we are project managers? But hear me out here. This certification is actually designed for individuals playing the crucial role of the customer, and they have a business liaison in the safe environment. So this can involve managing product backlogs, defining user stories, and ensuring the delivery of value to end users. Some advantages of having this certification is that it is specialized training within the safe agile team. It provides you skills to prioritize work for maximum value delivery. And there is a comprehensive coverage of the product owner's role, including customer and stakeholder engagement. So, this, if you observe, engaging with the stakeholders, making sure the requirements are in place, half of this work is something that you, as a project manager, are anyways doing, right? And that is why getting this additional product owner certification can give you an edge for sure. This is also going to provide you in-depth knowledge and training for backlog management and even prioritization of requirements in the safe environment. And the focus is on maximizing value delivery while staying aligned with customer and stakeholder needs. Safe framework, it facilitates organizational scaling to meet the customer demands. There are some disadvantages as well, because this might dilute your role a bit because you are a project manager, but a lot of project managers are going out and getting themselves the product owner certification. A lot of companies, when hiring safe scrum master or safe release train engineer, they are also preferring that you have the product owner, the PO certification as well, because if you have that certification, it proves that you have the larger picture as well. You understand the larger picture, you understand the point of view of a product owner, you understand the point of view of a scrum master, and that makes you suitable to basically operate at a level higher than the scrum master and the product owner. You might operate at the release train engineer level. So we are talking about some safe terminologies here, but yes, that is why product owner is a good certification to have. Again, the cost can vary from providers to providers, and this certification is tailored for safe framework only, right? So if you have a product owner certification and you go for a job role which is essentially a scrum master in maybe a scrum environment, then having a scaled agile framework related certification is not going to be much help. All right, let's talk about certification number 6, and that is CSPO, the Certified Scrum Product Owner. Now, this certification is tailored for individuals aspiring to excel in the role of a product owner within a Scrum team. And it provides the knowledge and the skills necessary to build products that deliver maximum value to customers or clients. You are essentially going into a product role with these certifications. You are expected to understand product. Even if you do not transition into product management roles, having these certifications can give you a good edge as compared to other project managers in the environment that you're working in the industry that you're working in. Because as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide as well, when we were talking about the previous certification, having these product owner related certifications prove that you understand a larger picture. You look at things not just from the scrum master perspective, but from the product owner perspective as well. Now, this certification is recognized as industry standard for product owners. It is going to teach you practical skills for managing and prioritizing the backlogs, and you can do so across multiple projects. You get an access to extensive network for ongoing support and continuous learning. That is one good thing about this certification offered by Agile Alliance, of course. Now, some of the advantages is it enhances your understanding of the Scrum framework, and it gives you an increased marketability and expanded career opportunities, because now you're not just a project manager, you're not just a scrum master, you also have knowledge in the field of product management. You understand the larger picture, and that is something which can always be of immense help. One of the cons is again variable cost that is associated to this certification, and there's some commitment that is required for continuous education as well after you're done with this certification, after you have obtained this certification. Let's talk about certification number 5 now, and that is PMI ACP. ACP stands for Agile Certified Professional. And this is the first PMI certification on this list. PMI, of course, is the Project Management Institute. And this certification is going to acknowledge your understanding of agile principles, proficiency to agile, the agile techniques as well, right? Proficiency to apply agile techniques. It is particularly suitable for seasoned agile practitioners that are already functioning within agile teams, or maybe organizations. This is something that we talked about, organizations that are on their way to adopt agile, and they might try different ways of working of agile. They might think whether Kanban is something that will be more suitable for their organization or a department within that organization. whether extreme programming will be more beneficial, whether Scrum will be more beneficial, right? And you, as someone who has this ACP certification, come with this plethora of knowledge about all these different ways of working when it comes to agile. So if you're working in an organization that is already following agile, ACP is the certification to go for. If you're working for an organization, or if you want to move to an organization that is transitioning into agile, then also ACP is the certification to go for. This is going to validate your real world, your hands on experience and expertise in agile project management. And it encompasses a broad spectrum of agile methodologies. So, this is not just Scrum, right? So, when you do a CSM certification, right, the Certified Scrum Master certification, or when you do a scaled agile framework Scrum Master certification, you are essentially dealing with just Scrum, just scaled agile. But when you go for ACP, you are dealing with loads of other ways of working in agile as well, right? So that is something which is really, really good, which is a plus point for this certification. And it aligns with current industry trends, because current industry trends are all moving towards agile project management. This is a certification that is recognized globally, and this again is applicable to diverse methodologies within agile. So that is something, you get a chance to go over diverse methodologies within agile, so you become an expert on few methodologies in agile and not just Scrum or not just scaled agile. So that is something about PMI ACP, but this is not a certification which can be termed as affordable, because this is definitely something which is expensive. Some might say that PMI charges a premium, but I think it charges a well deserved price. It deserves the price that it charges, because, again, this certification is globally recognized, and this is definitely something that you can aim for. All right, let's talk about certification number 4, and that again is from PMI. We are talking about PGMP certification here. This is tailored for senior level practitioners and program managers that are overseeing interconnected projects to achieve strategic objectives. And this is something that we are seeing more and more across the board, across the industries. We are seeing that the size of the projects, right, they might be getting a bit smaller. We might be delivering projects that are smaller in size but that are numerous, and those projects are interconnected, so they constitute a program. And to manage a program, we need program managers, and PGMP is a certification that is going to help you with that. This is going to provide you with advanced skills in business and complex project management. And it has a, definitely it has a higher earning potential, because you're not just dealing with one project or multiple projects, you are delivering with a plethora of projects that are delivered together so that they achieve some strategic objective. This certification also indicates a leadership role within the field, right? Because it is possible that you might be working with several project managers. They might be reporting to you, they might not be reporting to you, but you understand the strategic objective. You again are operating at a level higher than a project manager. If you are a program manager, if you get this PGMP certification and obtain the program manager role, right? PGMP certification, it often leads to higher salaries for sure. It opens up significant job opportunities, advanced positions, leadership positions, as we talked about, and it allows for better alignment with business strategy, providing considerable value to employers. So we are shifting from execution to strategy here, because we are operating at a higher level. And have you seen my podcast, the first episode of the PMC podcast? And that is where the guest talked about strategy. And he mentioned in passing that strategy is where the big money is, and that is why he gets involved in strategy. So talk about big money, talk about strategy, talk about a certification like PGMP. Again, one of the cons of this certification is that the fees is at a higher side, just like PMI ACP. But the other thing is that this certification demands substantial program and project management experience. So, if you are someone who is an early career professional, this certification might not be for you. And then there's a thorough application process, there's a panel evaluation, and the exam is also pretty comprehensive. In fact, I'll share a link in the description below. I'll edit it later and share it, where we had one of the guests a few years ago who talked about the PGMP certification. So I'll share a link to videos that are around PGMP, and I'll also share our podcast episode that I just mentioned in the description. All right, let's talk about certification number 3, and this also comes from PMI. No surprises here. Certified Associate in Project Management, the CAPM certification or the CAPM certification. There are loads of companies out there who are looking for project management professionals who have CAPM certification, right? People who are starting off, early career professionals, they might not be eligible for PMP, and organizations are okay if you have CAPM certification. Remember, these 9 certifications that we are listing here, these are ranked. That means CAPM actually ranks number 3 when it comes to job prospects. So this is definitely a certification that should be on your list. It is for individuals aspiring to initiate a project management career because it does not have any experience requirements, and it aims to showcase a candidate's grasp of foundational project management knowledge, foundational project management processes, terminologies that are used in the project management industry, right? So it definitely establishes a foundational understanding for those who are entering the project management field. And a lot of people tend to think that this serves as a stepping stone to the PMP certification. I sort of agree, because there's a major overlap between what you study when you are preparing for CAPM versus what you study for when you are preparing for PMP. Although that is subject to change, considering CAPM now has a new syllabus, and that is something which is rolling out as we speak. But CAPM is definitely a certification that is globally recognized. It is going to provide you a solid foundation, and there is low barrier to entry. We just talked about the PGMP certification, and we mentioned how there's a thorough process to get your application in. There's a panel review, right? So all of that is essentially higher barrier to entry, but that is something which you're not going to find with CAPM. It has low barrier to entry. Now, this is again more beneficial for individuals at the beginning of their career rather than those who are mid career and beyond. So that is something that you should be aware of. If you're someone who's been working in project management for a few years now, if your overall work experience is, let's say, 10 years, and you go for a CAPM certification, it is not going to be of much help to you. But our next certification will definitely be of much help, and we are talking about CSM, the Certified Scrum Master certification, which is offered by Scrum Alliance. Now, this certification is essentially an entry point for individuals aspiring to overcome obstacles within agile project management teams. This certification is designed for those who aim to facilitate teams in agile and scrum environment. As the name says, it is a certified scrum master certification. So you will be dealing just with scrum environment. You're not dealing with Kanban. You're not dealing with lean. You're not dealing with extreme programming. You're not dealing with scaled agile. What you're dealing with is just scrum. And this certification is so high in this list at number 2, it is just a proof that Scrum is a way of working that most of the companies out there have adopted when it comes to Agile. So, this is definitely a widely acknowledged certification. It is a comprehensive introduction to Scrum methodology. It has it pays emphasis on practical real world application of agile practices, and it provides a diverse range of career opportunities for sure. And this is again something which is applicable across various industries. So definitely a certification which is internationally recognized, widely recognized. You are getting yourselves a good foundational knowledge of Scrum, and definitely companies that are looking to move into Scrum or that are already operating in the Scrum environment, they will appreciate if you have the CSM certification. This is also applicable across various industries. A lot of people tend to think that Scrum is something that only IT and software companies do, but that is not true. There are other industries, other companies also that are moving to Agile, that are adopting Agile. Now, one other thing is, one of the cons that I believe is that if you have a traditional understanding of project management, right? You have a traditional waterfall way of working. That's how you've been working. You plan the work and then you work the plan. That's the traditional understanding of project management. If you have that, if your mind is full of frameworks about how to plan the work and then how to work the plan, how to execute, you might find this certification and especially the concepts taught in this certification, right? When you're studying for this certification, the stuff that you're going to study, you might not find them in alignment with what you have been doing all your career, right? So that is one of the cons, but this is where the industry is moving. So if you want to be updated, if you want to, walk with the industry, that definitely certified Scrum Master is the certification that you should go for. This was number 2 in our list. There is absolutely no point in guessing what the number 1 certification is going to be, because you might have guessed it already. This is the gold standard when it comes to project management industry, the PMP certification offered by PMI. This is a premier credential, and as I mentioned earlier, it is the gold standard in project management. It signifies a project manager's experience, education, because you need some experience to be able to be eligible for this exam, right? So it proves that you have experience, it proves that you have education, it proves that you have skills, and it proves that you have the competency required to pass an exam, which definitely demands that you spend hours studying for it for sure. PMP is universally recognized. It is a symbol of excellence when it comes to project management. Certification holders, they often earn a salary which is premium over non-certified individuals. This is something that we've been seeing in so many videos that we have done around the salaries across the world in different countries. And everywhere we go, any country that we talk about, right? Someone with a PMP certification is going to earn more than someone without a PMP certification. On an average, that has been the trend across the globe. Now, this is obviously a certification which which is required for senior project management roles for sure. It is definitely going to give you a significant boost in your career, even in your salary prospects. And it is recognized across various industries as well. So this is not specific to IT industry. This is not specific to construction industry. Anywhere you go, wherever there is project management, you will find that people know about PMP certification. But at that, with all that being said, this certification requires a rigorous training. It requires significant time and financial investment as well. So that is something that you should be aware of. You will have to spend hours. This certification requires commitment. So you'll have to spend hours studying for it. You'll have to spend a lot of money obtaining this certification, because it is not a cheap certification to get. It definitely costs a premium. And then, of course, if you want to get yourselves, you have to get yourselves the PDUs that are required, right? The hours, the 36 hours of project management education, that is a mandatory requirement. So there are 36 hours that are available even for free at a very low cost. You might go for this 36 hours with someone who charges extra, and then you might go for books, you might go for practice questions. All of these cost money. So this is definitely a certification which is expensive. But over at PMC Lounge, we have playlists that are available for free. Head over to our website, pmclounge.com. So many articles are there that explain every single concept that you need to know to pass your PMP exam. So make use of all these free resources that we have. Definitely consider subscribing to our channel for more around PMP, around the PMP certification, and obviously real life project management trends and insights that we keep offering. Now, here's some FAQs that I wanted to cover, because these questions are basically questions that we keep receiving through comments on our social media, even in my email. So these are some very basic questions that I keep receiving, and I thought, since we are talking about all these certifications, a lot of the audience would be those who might be searching for these certifications and may have a lot of questions, right? So let's start off with some of the FAQs. Number one is, which project management certification is the way to go? Now, this really depends on what you are aiming for in your career, the industry that you're in, or even the organization that you're in, and how that organization functions. So that is why I avoid answering this question with, which project management certification is the way to go, and I avoid saying PMP is the way to go. You might not even be eligible for PMP. Your organization might only be doing scaled agile. In that case, you should be going for scaled agile framework. But at the same time, PMP is one certification. If I were to answer this question in one word, my answer would be three characters: PMP. That is the certification that you should aim for, because that is the gold standard. Now, let me take up the next question that we keep receiving. Is it worth getting a project management certification? It is totally worth getting a project management certification. You can start with any of the 9 certifications that we spoke about here, right? Now, depending on the certification that you go for, it can open doors to better pay, more job options, and some high recognition in your field as well, because people would look up to you. If you have a certification like a PGMP certification, you might realize that in your entire organization, you're the only person with that certification. You're the only person who has the knowledge of program management, which has been acknowledged by an institute like PMI, because they gave you the PGMP certificate, right? So if you get certifications like these, you are definitely bound to be recognized. Let's take up another question. How do I pick up the right risk management certification? Now, there is, of course, a PMI RMP certification. And skill wise, you can think where you are right now and how much of risk management you are doing. And this usually comes from people who work in the construction industry, because there's a lot of importance that is paid to risk management in the construction environment and in the construction industry. And a lot of people tend to think whether they should go for RMP, the PMI RMP certification, or the PMP certification. Well, if you eat risks for breakfast, then definitely go for RMP certification, because that certification focuses just on risk management. But if get you are involved in the overall end to end project management, then definitely go for PMP certification. You have to study risk management as well when it comes to PMP certification. But if you're just looking for risk management, go for RMP. In fact, I'll share a link in the description, which is basically a video where I talked with a professional who was an RMP certified professional, right? So I'll share a link to that. You'll get to know more about RMP by going over that video. All right, let's take up another question. Can a project management certification help me switch careers? Absolutely. The entry level ones like CAPM, these are the kind of certifications that are for the folks with less experience. So these certifications give you a very solid foundation. But if you're eyeing more strategic roles, then you've got advanced options like portfolio management professional, PFMP, as well, to showcase that you are an expert. So we are talking about switching careers here, right? And a lot of people who have never done project management in the past, and they tend to think that if I want to switch careers and move into project management, I should get myself the PMP certification because it is the number one project management certification out there. The problem with this approach is you will study for PMP, you might even be able to pass the PMP exam, but when it comes to switching careers, when you'll appear for interviews for a project manager role, you will realize that you might not end up getting those roles because you do not have a real life project management experience. So that is why, for people like these, for professionals who do not have exposure to project management, I highly urge them to start off with the CAPM certification, which is the certification for those who do not have project management experience. So go for CAPM, enter into the field of project management, work for a few years there, get yourselves eligible for the PMP certification, and then go for PMP certification. So that way, having a certification can definitely help you switch careers. If you're already a project manager, if you're a very senior project manager, right, and you want to go for a leadership position, then having a PFMP or a PGMP certification can be of a lot of help to you as well. So certification can definitely help you switch careers. And finally, how long does it take to snag a project management certification? PMP certification, right? I have a free project management professional, the PMP certification exam study plan. So check out the links in the description. Get yourselves this free PMP study plan, and you'll be able to clear the PMP in 50 days. So that plan is basically a plan of 50 days. It tells you what you should be doing starting day 1 till day 50. So that's how long it takes to snag project management certification like PMP. But if you're talking about project management certifications like, let's say, CSM or even PRINCE2, then it takes you a few days, a couple of days maybe, and you'll be able to get yourselves the CSM, the PRINCE2 certification, even the scaled agile certifications. But PMP being the gold standard, that is going to take some time for sure. So these were some FAQs, and I hope you're getting value out of this video. I hope you were able to, you know, understand whatever that I'm talking about when it comes to all these different certifications. And I hope you're getting value. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you like this live video, the live stream, that is. And drop a like if you did. Let me know. By the way, before I talk about what you're seeing on your screen, that is Lounge Access, what do you think about the stuff that we discussed today? Do you agree with the ranks that I gave to these certifications? And this is not my personal preference. This is based on a lot of research, and mostly research around jobs that are listed, jobs that are seeking these certifications, and what is the salary range of their jobs, of these jobs, right? So that is what this ranking was based on, and I hope you got value out of it. Let me know what do you think about this, and would you like to add any certification in this list? Do you find something that you would want to discuss with me? Do you want to discuss whether you should go for CAPM or PGMP or PMP? Right? So when it comes to discussing something with me, this is where Lounge Access comes into the picture. Now you can discuss your career goals, you can get your questions answered around the PMP certification, your project management career path, jumping into the project management domain, or anything else. As long as we stick to project management, you can drop a note to admin@pmclounge.com, and they are going to help you schedule a meeting with me. This is called Lounge Access. Definitely take advantage of this opportunity, right? Lounge Access, the name Lounge Access comes from our own name. We are PMC Lounge. I hope you remember that. So here's a testimonial by Prakash, and please drop your feedback. It keeps us stay motivated. It keeps us going. Head over to pmclounge.com/write and drop us a feedback. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you very much, and I hope you got value from today's session. Like, share, subscribe. If you like our work, consider contributing by heading over to pmclounge.com/contribute or use the thanks button on YouTube. We are all about PMP, project management, and other project management related certifications. Thank you and have a nice day.